Shedeur Sanders wins the starting quarterback job in Cleveland, okay? And nobody's thinking that the Browns are going to be able to do anything this year. However, this guy comes in and he takes them to a 10-win season. 10 wins.
That would be sweet.
As a rookie. Very similar to what happened last year with Daniels in Washington. And he wins offensive.
In the last couple of weeks, Shedeur Sanders has really stepped up his performance. At one point, there was talk about him going as high as the 2nd overall pick in the draft. But surprisingly, he dropped all the way to the 5th round. Maybe people were unsure about his attitude, or maybe the fact that his father is also his coach raised some eyebrows. Whatever the reason, his draft stock plummeted, but here's the reality. When it comes to raw ability, Shedeur is among the most gifted quarterbacks in this year's draft. During rookie minicamp, he didn't just showcase his talent, he showed leadership qualities, both on and off the field. And now with OTAs, organized team activities underway, especially during day 2, which was open to the media, we've gotten some impressive glimpses of what he can do. There were plenty of highlights, insights, and observations from that session, and the biggest takeaway? Shedeur Sanders is making waves. We're going to go over the top plays he's made, how he's performed over the last few days, and what that could mean for his role on the team going forward. But before we dive deeper, drop your thoughts in the comments. Based on what we've seen so far in OTAs and minicamp, who do you think is emerging as the top quarterback in this group? Whether it's Kenny Pickett showing veteran consistency, Dillon Gabriel flashing potential, Joe Flacco bringing his experience, or Shedeur Sanders turning heads with his accuracy and poise, they've all had strong moments. It's shaping up to be a competitive room, and we want to know who's impressed you the most. But as things stand, Shedeur has looked the sharpest. Of course, one has to remember there's no full contact action yet, no pads. But even in those 11-on-11 and 7-on-7 drills, he's shown something special. He's officially listed as the 4th quarterback on the depth chart, so there's a lot of ground to cover, but if he keeps this up, things could change. Let's talk about one throw that really stood out. It happened during a 7-on-7 session, so no linemen on either side. If this had been full speed with pressure, things might have looked different, but still, it was impressive. The defense was in man-to-man coverage, and the safety was leaning toward the left side of the field. That kind of defensive setup gives a quarterback a clear choice. If your target on the opposite side has a favorable matchup, you go for it. This case, the tight end got a clean release against a slower linebacker. Shedeur dropped back, not a textbook drop, but he launched the ball with great accuracy. And that's what stood out, the ball placement.
Both of those guys got drafted, by the same team, and you guys can see this was the previous interception that he threw right here in minicamp, and things are starting to stack up as Shedeur Sanders is not throwing any interceptions. He's continuing to be flawless, and his brother Dillon Gabriel seeming to throw a lot more interceptions, balls batted down at the line. And at the end of the day, these are some of the things that they don't necessarily want to put out to the public, but it's all I'm bringing to my audience, because if you guys haven't seen these clips, I think it's important that you see these clips, because if it was Shedeur Sanders, it would be everywhere if he was throwing interceptions like this.
Compared to others like Dillon Gabriel, who had some good moments but also saw passes knocked down, Shedeur's throw was on another level. He hit the tight end perfectly in stride on a corner route, toward the back pylon, press coverage, tight window, linebacker trailing, and still he dropped it right in. It was a clear read. Once the safety bit on the short route, Shedeur recognized the one-on-one matchup and took the shot. At the moment, Shedeur Sanders isn't the Browns' first choice quarterback, but that could change with time. His performances during OTAs have started to turn heads, earning praise from analysts and commentators alike. Some are even beginning to suggest that if the Browns are serious about making a title run, Sanders deserves serious consideration for a bigger role heading into the season. Even veteran quarterback Joe Flacco had positive things to say about Shedeur Sanders, noting that the young QB has brought a smile to his face, not just with his on-field performance, but also with his infectious personality. It's clear that Sanders is making an impression not only on the coaching staff and analysts, but also among his teammates. There was a moment during one of Dillon Gabriel's reps where you could tell he was starting to worry about defensive linemen getting their hands up and batting passes at the line. Because of that, he started releasing the ball a little higher than usual, and it showed. Some of his passes ended up sailing well over his receivers, and a few got deflected. It's something he'll need to work on. That said, both he and Shedeur have areas to improve. Neither is perfect, and there's no obvious frontrunner yet. It's still a tight competition.
Dillon Gabriel raises a lot of eyebrows of concern. As you guys know, he had a ball batted down today, and it turned into an interception, pick 6. And you guys can see right here, this was a cause of concern coming into the draft when it pertained to Dillon Gabriel, is how, you know, his smaller frame. You guys seen it with the Johnny Manziels. Just kind of with those guys with the smaller frames getting balls batted down to the line that ultimately turns into interception.
Let's go back to that previous angle of Shedeur's throw from the opposite side of the field. You can see the process. He drops back, makes a quick read, and delivers it. Again, the ball placement was spot on. Tight end Brennan Bates made a fantastic grab, but what really stood out was how perfectly placed that ball was. Even though these are only 7-on-7s and not full team drills, you still want to simulate real pressure. On one play, Shedeur checked his first read to the left, nothing there, rolled to his right, and found Pierre Strong wide open underneath. Him for a score. That kind of movement and decision making under pressure, even if it's just imagined pressure for now, is exactly what you want to see. With everything we've seen so far, it's no wonder Shedeur Sanders was once projected to be a top draft pick, possibly even going 2nd overall. The fact that he slid in the draft still raises questions, because based on his current performance, the doubts seem unfounded. Whatever the reason for his draft day drop, he's now showing a level of polish, command, and confidence that suggests he was vastly underrated. Yes, we have to acknowledge it's still early. These are just OTAs, no pads, no full speed contact, and there's always a need to temper expectations this time of year, but that doesn't mean we ignore the signs. His mechanics are sharp, his footwork is improved, his decision making is quick, and his ball placement is on point. He's carrying himself with the kind of poise you want in a franchise quarterback. Right now, he's looking like the most complete QB on the field. That said, it's important to remember we may not be seeing every snap from veterans like Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett. The footage and commentary have undeniably focused more on Sanders, so there may be great moments from the others that just haven't made it to the public eye yet. But even with that in mind, it's hard not to be impressed by what Shedeur is doing. The tools are there, the talent is real, and if this trajectory continues, the Browns may have found something truly special under center. Whether he starts this season or not, one thing's clear: Shedeur Sanders is making it very hard to keep him off the field. Now we want to hear from you. Who do you think should be in the Browns starting lineup this season? Is it time to hand the keys to Shedeur Sanders, or should the team stick with the experience of Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett? Do you believe Shedeur has what it takes to lead the Browns not just to the playoffs, but maybe even on a run to the Super Bowl? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're reading them all. And if you're enjoying these breakdowns and want full coverage of OTAs, minicamp, and every step of training camp, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of this quarterback battle.